The silent arrival. The stars above the quiet stretch of space looked peaceful, but not everything was calm. A fleet of alien warships moved slowly in the darkness. They were huge in number, shining with cold silver light. To the alien commanders, this moment was history. They believed they were going to meet a weak new species, the humans, who had only recently begun to expand beyond their small planet. The alien leaders spoke with pride. They called humans fragile, unprepared, and too young to face the galaxy. Their soldiers laughed when they imagined human ships. They expected small vessels, old weapons, and commanders who had no idea how to fight in the deep cold of space. For them, this was not war. It was only the beginning of their control over another species. But silence can hide many secrets. At the edge of human space, a small outpost picked up strange signals. The operators inside the station leaned over their consoles, confused. The readings did not match trade ships or travelers. Instead, they showed massive engines, energy levels far beyond normal cargo fleets. The alarm spread quickly through the human network. A message was sent in haste. Unidentified ships approaching. On the alien flagship, the commander stood tall. His voice was calm, filled with arrogance. We will show them mercy. If they bow, they may serve. If they resist, we will erase them. The soldiers cheered, their voices echoing across the command deck. As their fleet crossed deeper into human territory, they waited for a response. They expected humans to rush out, begging for peace. But the silence from the human side continued. No messages, no envoys, no signs of fear. Only the quiet hum of empty space. That silence began to bother some of the younger alien officers. They asked why the humans had not spoken. Were they planning something? But the older commanders laughed at their doubt. Humans have nothing. Soon they will kneel. Then it happened. The first human warship appeared on the edge of the alien sensors. At first, the aliens thought it was an error. The ship was too large, its frame dark as if it swallowed the starlight around it. It moved slowly, but with purpose, like a predator watching its prey. More shapes followed. 1, 2, then 5 human warships sliding into formation. Their hulls carried no colors, no banners, only steel and shadows. They did not send greetings. They did not broadcast warnings. They only moved step by step closer. Inside the alien fleet, tension grew. The commander narrowed his eyes. He had expected weak ships, but these machines looked strong, built for war. The silence of the humans became heavier, like a weight pressing on every alien heart. The younger alien officers whispered among themselves. "Why are they so quiet?" one asked. "Why do they not speak?" Another replied, voice shaking. "Because they do not need to." The alien commander ordered a signal to be sent. "This is the first Dominion fleet. You are trespassing in our path. Submit and we will spare your lives." The message traveled across the void, but no reply came. The human ships kept moving. Their formation tightened, lines clean and perfect. It was as if they had done this countless times before. Their weapons remained hidden, but every alien could feel the power waiting behind the silence. One officer on the alien flagship clenched his fists. "Commander, their ships, they are not weak. They are watching us." The commander forced a laugh. "Fear is making you blind. Fire a warning shot. Show them what true power looks like." A beam of white light shot from the alien side, cutting across the empty dark, but it did not strike the humans. It passed close, meant to frighten them. Yet the human ships did not move. They did not flinch. They only waited like predators who had just watched their prey make the first mistake. The silence grew unbearable. Every alien soldier could feel it now, crawling through their skin. They were no longer laughing. They were no longer calling humans fragile. A thought began to spread among them, quiet at first, then louder. What if the stories about humans were wrong? On the human flagship, the commander sat in silence, his eyes fixed on the alien fleet. No emotion showed on his face. His crew waited for his order, hands steady, voices calm. They had seen many enemies before, and they were prepared. The alien fleet, once proud and loud, now faced the unknown. And for the first time in centuries, fear spread not because of what had been said, but because of what had not. The arrival of the human warships was not loud. It was not filled with speeches or threats. It was silent, dark, and cold. Yet in that silence, the aliens understood something terrible. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was waiting, and the galaxy was about to change. The first exchange, the alien fleet stretched across the stars like a wall of steel. Their ships gleamed, lights blinking, engines roaring faintly in the silence of space. But inside, the mood was shifting. The sight of human warships had shaken even the bravest soldiers. These vessels were not small or weak. They stood like towers in the void, each one silent but threatening, as if waiting for the right moment to strike. On the alien flagship, tension was rising. The commander raised his voice to calm his crew. "Do not let fear guide you. They are only humans. They will learn what it means to face the Dominion." His words carried pride, but his eyes told a different story. He kept watching the human ships, uncertain why they stayed so quiet. The aliens had expected words, messages, maybe even desperate pleas. Instead, they faced silence. That silence was worse than any insult. It felt like standing in front of a predator that did not even consider you worth speaking to. Finally, the alien commander gave the order, "Send the signal again," this time with strength. They must know who rules this galaxy. The transmission went out, loud and sharp. "Humans, you are trespassing in our path. Bow before the Dominion fleet. Submit or be destroyed." No answer came. The humans did not speak. Their ships only adjusted position, falling into a tighter formation. Each movement was perfect, sharp as a blade. To the aliens, it looked like a war dance, calm, steady, and deadly. Whispers spread across the alien fleet. Soldiers asked one another why the humans did not reply. Officers traded uneasy glances. Even the younger captains began to sweat. Silence had never been so loud. Then, without warning, a single human ship pushed forward. It drifted ahead of the line, black against the stars. Weapons remained hidden, but its shadow loomed across the alien fleet. It was as if the humans were saying, "Here we are." "What will you do?" The alien commander clenched his fists. "Fire again. Show them our power." A blast of energy shot from the Dominion fleet. This time it was not a warning. It streaked across the void toward the human ship. Alarms flared as light tore through the black. But when the dust cleared, the human vessel still stood untouched. Its shields had absorbed the attack as if it were nothing. Gasps filled the alien decks. Soldiers stared at their screens in disbelief. No ship in their galaxy had survived such a strike without heavy damage. Yet the human warship had not even flinched. The alien commander growled, forcing strength into his voice. It was only luck. "Fire again, all batteries this time." Dozens of alien ships lit up, beams of energy slashing through the dark. Explosions of light filled the battlefield, but the humans did not panic. Their ships moved as one, sliding through the blasts, shields glowing faintly, hulls unharmed. Then, for the first time, the humans answered. A single message appeared on every alien screen. Just 3 words: "Do not test us." The voices of the Dominion fell silent. No one laughed now. The message was not loud, but it was cold, steady, and filled with unshaken confidence. The alien commander felt the weight of those words press against him. He had commanded fleets across 100 systems, crushed rebellions and silenced worlds. Yet in that moment, facing a handful of human warships, he felt something he had not felt in centuries: doubt. On the human flagship, the commander gave his first order. His crew moved without hesitation. One human ship fired a single shot. It was not aimed at the flagship, nor at the heart of the fleet. It struck a smaller Dominion cruiser on the far edge. The alien ship vanished in a flash. No wreckage remained. No cry for help. Only silence. Panic spread instantly through the Dominion ranks. Soldiers shouted. Officers begged for orders. The commander struggled to keep control. One shot had destroyed a ship that should have lasted minutes in battle. If the humans could erase a cruiser so easily, what chance did the rest of the fleet have? Yet the humans did not press forward. They did not rain destruction. They only waited, their dark ships watching, silent again. It was as if they were giving the aliens one last chance to choose: retreat or be broken. For the first time, the galaxy's proud Dominion realized it was not in control. The humans had spoken without words, shown their strength without mercy, and the stars themselves seemed to whisper the truth. This was only the beginning. The breaking point. The silence after the human warning hung heavy. Across the Dominion fleet, fear tightened its grip. Thousands of alien soldiers stared at their screens, their voices low, their confidence broken. One human shot had erased an entire cruiser, and yet the humans did not follow with more fire. They only waited, calm and still, as if they already knew how this encounter would end. On the Dominion flagship, The commander's face darkened. His pride would not allow retreat. "They think they can frighten us with tricks," he said. His words were sharp, but his voice trembled slightly, betraying his doubt. "We are the Dominion. We will crush them." He raised his arm and gave the order that would decide everything. "All fleets, attack!" The stars lit up as hundreds of Dominion ships opened fire. Beams of energy, missiles, and rail projectiles filled the dark. The sky itself seemed to break apart under the storm. For a moment, alien pride returned. They believed no force in the galaxy could survive such a barrage. But the humans did. Their ships moved like shadows, sliding through the firestorm with unnatural precision. Shields flared, but none collapsed. Missiles exploded against their armor, leaving no mark. Every formation was perfect. Every maneuver exact, as if the humans had practiced this battle countless times. Then came the answer. The human commander raised one hand. A signal spread across the fleet. At once, human warships unleashed their weapons. Blue-white beams ripped across the void, slicing through Dominion cruisers like paper. Alien shields designed to withstand hours of battle fell in seconds. Ship after ship vanished in flashes of fire. Panic spread across the Dominion ranks. Captains shouted, begging for orders. Soldiers cried out as their ships trembled under impacts they had never imagined possible. The humans did not waste shots. Every beam hit its mark. Every missile found its target. It was not a battle. It was an execution. On the Dominion flagship, silence filled the command deck as screens showed their fleet collapsing. "Impossible," whispered one officer. "No enemy has ever broken us like this." The commander's chest tightened. He wanted to deny what he saw, but the truth was clear. The humans fought with a power the galaxy had never known. The aliens tried to regroup. Smaller ships swarmed toward the humans, desperate to overwhelm them with numbers. But human vessels responded with deadly calm. Point defense systems lit up, tearing swarms apart before they came close. Larger Dominion battleships charged forward, shields glowing bright, but one strike from a human cannon shattered them into burning fragments. It was not only the weapons that terrified the aliens. It was the humans themselves. They did not taunt, they did not boast, they did not shout. They fought in silence, cold and precise, as if war was not rage but routine. That silence cut deeper than any weapon. One Dominion officer whispered the fear aloud. They are not fighting to prove themselves. They are fighting because they already know they cannot lose. In less than 15 minutes, a third of the Dominion fleet was gone. Fires raged across wreckage, drifting bodies floated in the void, and panic reached every ship. The commander's hands shook, but still he shouted, "Hold the line! They cannot defeat us all." His voice rang with desperation, not authority. His officers no longer believed. Many secretly prayed for survival instead of victory. Meanwhile, the human flagship advanced slowly. It did not rush, it did not chase. It simply pressed forward, calm as a storm rolling over the sea. Each alien ship in its path fell, torn apart by weapons no one could understand. The Dominion fleet, once feared across the stars, now realized what it faced. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was not untested. Humanity was a predator, and the galaxy had mistaken it for prey. As the alien flagship shuddered under the shockwaves of battle, the commander finally understood. This was no first meeting of equals. This was the day the Dominion had awakened a force they could not control. And across the galaxy, watching from far-off worlds and listening through hidden channels, other civilizations felt the same dread. Whispers began to spread, voices trembling. The humans have risen. The breaking point had come. The galaxy would never be the same. The galaxy watches. The battle ended, but the silence it left behind was louder than any explosion. Wreckage drifted through space, glowing faintly in the starlight. The Dominion fleet, once proud and feared, was broken. Fires burned in the remains of ships that only hours earlier had been symbols of dominance. Human warships stood untouched, steady in the void, like mountains unshaken by storms. Survivors from the Dominion scrambled for escape. Damaged ships pulled away, shields flickering, engines burning. They carried more than wounded soldiers, they carried stories. Stories of the humans. Stories that would spread faster than any fleet could travel. Across the galaxy, eyes were already watching. Civilizations far and near had monitored the clash, their hidden probes capturing fragments of the battle. They had expected a small skirmish, perhaps the Dominion teaching a lesson to some reckless newcomers. Instead, they saw the unthinkable, the Dominion crushed, their fleets torn apart, their voices silenced by humans who had barely spoken. In council chambers light years away, alien leaders sat in stunned silence. Screens replayed the destruction. Dominion cruisers breaking apart in seconds. Massive battleships erased by single human strikes. Every frame carried the same truth. The humans had fought not with luck but with power. Whispers grew louder in those halls. They destroyed them too quickly. Their weapons are beyond what we know. If they can do this to the Dominion, what chance do we have? On merchant worlds, traders spoke with trembling voices. Rumors twisted into legends within hours. Some said the humans commanded weapons born from black holes. Others claimed they used ancient technology hidden for centuries. A few even whispered that humans did not fight alone, that something darker fought with them, silent and unseen. Fear spread faster than facts. Among the Dominion survivors, despair grew. Captains sent broken messages across the stars begging for reinforcements, but no answer came. Their empire had been certain of victory, and now it faced something it had never imagined: defeat. In hidden corners of the galaxy, smaller civilizations watched with mixed feelings. For decades they had lived under Dominion's shadow, paying tribute, bowing to threats. Now they saw a crack in that power torn open by humans. Some whispered of hope, some dared to dream of freedom. But most felt only fear. For if the humans could destroy the Dominion, what would they do to weaker worlds? On the human flagship, silence still ruled. The commander stood calm, his face unreadable. His crew worked quietly, their voices low. To them this was not glory. It was necessity. Humanity had shown its strength, but it was only the beginning. They knew the galaxy was watching. Back on alien homeworlds, news spread like fire. Cities buzzed with panic as images of human warships appeared on every screen. Children asked their parents why the humans had stayed so quiet. Elders whispered warnings from old stories, stories of predators who hid their claws until the right moment. The Dominion tried to control the narrative. They called the defeat an accident, a misunderstanding, a temporary setback. But no lie could erase the truth seen by thousands of witnesses. No speech could silence the terror that now clung to their name. For the first time in living memory, the galaxy's strongest empire had been made to bleed. And the wound was deep. In the shadows of neutral space, smugglers and wanderers spread tales with trembling excitement. The humans did not even try, one said. They fought as if the Dominion were nothing. Another leaned closer, whispering, if this was only their first battle, what happens when they unleash their full strength? Fear became universal. It did not matter if one lived in a palace or a slum, on a crowded planet or a drifting station. The message was the same. The humans had arrived, and the galaxy would never be the same. In the vast halls of an old alien council, one voice finally broke the silence. If humanity can do this now, what will they become in a century? Or 1,000 years? No one answered. No one could. The galaxy had seen war before. Empires had risen and fallen. Civilizations had fought for power. But this was different. This was not another empire seeking control. This was something new, something dangerous, something silent. The day the humans met the Dominion had become more than a battle. It had become a warning. And every star system, every leader, every soldier now carried the same question in their hearts. Were the humans the galaxy's new rulers, or its greatest threat? Fear across the stars. The battlefields of space were quiet now. No engines roared, no weapons fired. Only the drifting wreckage of the Dominion fleet remained, glowing faintly against the dark canvas of the stars. Human warships stood unshaken, their steel frames untouched, their silence colder than the void itself. The Dominion survivors fled into the depths of space, carrying fear with them. Their broken signals echoed across channels, words filled with panic and disbelief. We faced humans, and we lost. Each message was a wound to their empire, proof that the unthinkable had happened. But fear did not stay contained within the Dominion. It spread outward, racing across systems carried by traitors, spies, and silent watchers. In every corner of the galaxy, people whispered the same tale. The day the humans met the Dominion. On distant mining colonies, workers put down their tools to listen to shaky broadcasts. They heard of human warships that moved like shadows, shields that could not be broken, weapons that erased ships with a single shot. Many refused to believe it, but the silence of Dominion leaders told them it was true. In crowded alien cities, voices rose in fear. Parents pulled children close, trying to comfort them with lies about safety. Merchants raised prices, afraid war would spread. Leaders gathered in secret, asking themselves whether to make peace with humanity or prepare for the storm they feared would come. Even among species who had never seen Earth, the fear was alive. The humans had become more than a people. They had become a story, a legend, a shadow cast across every star. On the Dominion's capital world, the Emperor listened in silence as his council argued. Some demanded vengeance. Some begged for retreat. Others whispered that their age of power had ended. The Emperor said nothing, but in his heart he knew the truth. The Dominion had built its rule on fear. Now that fear belonged to humans. Meanwhile, on the human flagship, the commander stood before his crew. His face was calm, his voice steady. "We did not begin this war," he said, "but we finished it. And now the galaxy watches. Let them see what we are." His words were not loud, but they carried the same weight as the silence that had broken the Dominion. Humanity did not need to shout. Their actions had already spoken. Reports from scouts confirmed what many had expected. Other empires were pulling back fleets, retreating from borders near human space. Trade ships altered routes to avoid conflict. Entire governments held emergency councils, terrified of a power they had never planned to face. And yet, through all the fear, the humans did not celebrate. There were no grand speeches, no cries of victory. Their warships simply turned and drifted back toward their own territory, leaving wreckage and silence behind. That silence was louder than any triumph. It told the galaxy everything. Humanity had the strength to destroy, but chose not to. To those who watched from afar, the message was clear. The humans were not weak, not desperate, not reckless. They were patient, controlled, and dangerous. They would not bow to threats, and they would not beg for peace. Across the stars, smaller civilizations began to whisper of alliances. Some dreamed of protection under human strength. Others feared becoming the next target. But all agreed on one truth. The galaxy now belonged to a different balance. A trader on a distant world put it best as he told the story in a crowded market. His voice was low, his eyes wide. The Dominion used to be the nightmare. But now when we close our eyes at night, we do not see them anymore. We see human warships, silent and waiting. The fear was not in what humans had done, but in what they might do next. On countless worlds, leaders asked the same question: what will humanity become? Would they rise as protectors or as conquerors? Would they build peace, or would they break every empire that stood against them? No answer came. The humans gave no promises, no warnings. Their silence remained, stretching across the stars like a shadow. And so, the galaxy lived under a new truth. Fear no longer belonged to the Dominion. It belonged to the humans. The day aliens met human warships had ended one empire's pride and begun a legend that would never die. And in every star system, in every council, in every heart, the same thought echoed. This was only the first battle. Humanity had just begun.